Hi, Jason here for Upstart Epoxy, and this week we're in the shop and we're going to demold this deep pour project that we started last week. Stay tuned. So this week, what we're going to do is we're going to demold this deep pour test piece that we did last week. Now, deep pour resin takes a lot longer to cure than the super gloss coating. So we let it sit for a couple days and it cured, and it is solid. It is ready to come out of the mold, and what we're going to do is we're going to plane it smooth, sand it, polish it, finish the edges, and we're going to see how it turns out. Now, this is the type of stuff that you're going to use for your deep pours, your river tables, everything like that. This is designed to be smooth and sanded and finished. This is not a, we're going to pour it and then this is how it turns out. No, this stuff is designed to be finished. Now, you can coat it with the super gloss coating as a top coat and do your edge overs or spillovers, or it can be sanded and polished and finished with like a hard wax oil or something like that. And I don't know which one we're gonna do, but we'll see how it turns out. All right, so we're gonna take this out of the mold and get it plain smooth, and we're gonna come back. So we've got our project completely demolded, and this is it out of the mold. Now it's pretty hefty. This is a good test piece size. As I said, this ended up being 2.25 inches thick. We are going to plane it down to the lowest point. That way we have a nice flat surface on both sides to work with. But we also wanted to show that we made our mold out of a couple different materials. First of all, we used wood for the base and the short sides, and then we covered it in sheathing tape. Now, sheathing tape goes by a couple trade names. If you're going to the big box stores, you've got Tyvek or Tuck, and they're sheathing tapes. They're all-weather sheathing tapes. Pretty much the only stuff that sticks to this is sheathing tape. We've also got acrylic. This is a 3/4 inch acrylic that's been cut to size and pre-drilled and countersunk. So never try to drill straight through acrylic. Always pre-drill it or it will crack, plain and simple. So since this is a sizable seat, it's actually a little wide for my planer. I have a helical head carbide planer, a little wide for it, but we're gonna put it on the CNC and we're gonna slab flatten it. So we're gonna take a slabbing bit, even it out on this end, flip it over, and slab this side too. So that way when we're done, we have a completely parallel surface on both sides to work with. So that's the next thing we're gonna do, but it's gonna take a little bit, so stay tuned. All right, so we're back. We've got our nice piece of walnut and deep pour resin completed. We have it planed nice and smooth right off the CNC. Got a few little slabbing marks we're going to take out with sanding. We are going to clean up the edges. We're going to sand it down to 320 using a mesh sanding system. Mesh sanding systems are superior for epoxy applications because they don't bind up nearly as much and they don't generate too much heat. Heat is bad for epoxy. It gets a little bit softer as it starts to get warmer. Part of the whole curing process. We don't want it to melt, so we're going to use the mesh. So let's get the edges cleaned up. Let's start the sanding process, and then when everything's said and done, then we're going to decide whether or not we're going to gloss coat it or we're going to use some other finish. I'm actually hedging on gloss because we have a couple of voids that got exposed in here as not being completely filled with the deep pour. A couple bubbles got trapped, and sometimes that's unavoidable with the whole inclusions and void space in any type of pour, but it can be fixed and it's gonna turn out great. So let's get this cleaned up, let's get sanding, and let's get finishing. See you in a bit. And we're back. And if you can tell from the setup that we have, I think we decided that we're going to gloss coat this. It's going to be an interesting project because we are using the deep pour that is coming soon to create the project, and then the tried and true and tested super gloss coating to make it pop. So again, 2-vessel pour. We're gonna mix by weight, stir, pour into a second vessel, stir some more because that's our favorite part, all the stirring, and then we're gonna pour and come back and see what happens. If anybody's forgotten, inside of all the Upstart kits, you get all this wonderful information, especially the instructions. Always follow the instructions, plain and simple. The deep pour is going to have instructions. You're going to want to follow that. The super gloss coating has instructions. You're going to want to follow that. We're not going to be using them. They also come with the spreader and the brush for your seal coats. We're not going to do a seal coat on this. This walnut should be okay. We sanded it, not going to need the seal coat. So we're going to get rid of that stuff. But we are going to use the stirring sticks because we're going to stir. Everyone loves the stirring. All right, so this is a larger project. So we're going to mix up, and let's see, it's 100 to 83. So we're going to mix up 200 grams of the resin and 166 grams of the hardener. All right. Again, starts out clear, and as you begin to mix it, it's nice and cloudy. And there it starts to go. Get nice and clear again. And as usual, try not to introduce too many air bubbles into it. It's less that you have to worry about popping with a torch or with the alcohol mist. Less issues you have to deal with, the better off you are. And scrape your edges, scrape your bottom. I get one of my bigger ones. Kind of gets down in the cup a little bit better. Do your little drip test. Nice and clear, no swirls. And now we transfer it to our second vessel. And the second vessel, where you scrape the edges, you can actually see it's still a little cloudy. That's why we do that. Make sure it gets completely mixed. All right, stir off to the side. And from a height of about 10 to 12 inches, you just pour it on. Kind of want to, this is a little bit of a larger surface. So like you would with countertops, kind of spread it out. Gravity is going to do a lot of the work. It's going to even a lot of this out, but every little bit of help you can give it, it pays off in the end. Now, you notice we have a couple of these bubbles from these inclusions that we were going to fill. So these are going to rise to the surface, and if not, we're going to pop them ourselves. Any bubbles in our finish. Bring the epoxy to the edge. Gravity do most of the work, just helping it out. And where it starts to run over on the sides and the chamfers, just give it a little rub so that any epoxy that follows it has a place to go. All right, so while filming this, I looked down and realized that I got a little epoxy on my clothes. Great thing about Upstart epoxy is alcohol is a solvent for the epoxy. So if you get a little bit on you, on your clothes, just give it a good spritz of your little mister bottle of alcohol. Break it up just fine. At least now it won't cure in the fabric. All right, there's our coating. Kind of want to keep an eye on your problem areas that you noted before. We're gonna hit it with that alcohol spray. That's the solvent to break the bubbles, the surface tension on the edges. That way you get a good clean spillover. And just because it's more fun, do a little bit of flame polish right at the end. And there we have it. We have a completed deep pour project using the new deep pour line coming out, gloss coated using the super gloss coating. So 2 products, 1 project, infinite possibilities. I'm keeping this one. All right, when it completely cures in the morning, we're gonna come back and show you what it looks like. As I said, we're really excited about this. We're really excited to bring this to market. We're really excited to get everyone to start using it. Everyone's been asking for it. Here it is, folks. The countdown has started. We can't wait to see what you make with it. All right, gonna let this sit overnight. Come back in the morning. So it's the next morning, we're back in the shop, and this project has turned out phenomenally. It's taken just a few days to go from a piece of walnut to a display quality. This could be a tabletop, serving board, a wall art piece. I don't know how I'm going to be able to give it up, so I'm probably just going to keep it. 2 systems, 1 result. Upstart's new deep pour line, Upstart's tried and true and proven super gloss coating. The ability to do the deeper pours, or the holographic effect when it comes to the pigments, the custom cinnamon pigment that we came up with for this pour to match the walnut, the mirror coating over the top. Everything came out spectacularly. On a more interesting note, kind of a technical side note, for those who have used deep pour epoxies from other companies, take your cutoff and do your bend test. This stuff is extremely resilient, extremely well cured. That means you're not going to have a lot of shifting or warping in your final project. This doesn't take 30 or 60 days to fully cure. I'm Jason on behalf of Upstart Epoxy. We thank you for taking this journey with us using our 2 systems. The new deep pour line and this tried and true super gloss line. We cannot wait to see what everyone else makes. Have a good day.